You guys can all say hello if you want to. I don't know if it'll
Hello.
Hello.
make it less formal, I guess.
Great. So, welcome to the Mitten. These were the first words that I received when I first walked into the Guardian building in Detroit, Michigan, to start my summer internship not that long ago. Little did I know at the time that I would be utterly falling in love with a city that has such rich history and the beautiful broken facades that I now get to call my home. I had begun my Michigan adventure wary of crime stories and bad publicity that I had heard from the city, but in truth, Detroit is so much more than its reputation claims. And now that I have lived and worked in downtown Detroit, I am very passionate that other people get to know the true history of the city. In this speech, I will present to you the 3 most important historical events that make Detroit into the city that it is today. The first major event in Detroit's history was a Great Fire in 1805 that burned the city to the ground with roughly 600 residents at the time. That was less than 3 weeks before it was appointed to be Michigan's capital. Rather than giving up, though, the citizens of the city and their new governor received a grant from the federal government to rebuild the city, incorporating 10,000 acres of new and surrounding land. It was officially crowned a city in September of 1806, and it received its first charter in 1815. Soon afterwards, Detroit experienced a boom in their economics that gave it worldwide recognition. And you guessed it, it's Henry Ford's automotive manufacturing plant. It drew thousands and thousands of people to the city that became known as the industrialization capital of America and soon to be the world. This is the second and most pivotal point in Detroit's history, and also what it's most well known for. I'm sure you all have heard of the big 3, GM, Ford, and Chrysler. So the population of Detroit absolutely soared, went out of the water. 1.3 million people moved to Detroit, and it went from a population of around 300,000 to 1.6 million. I think it was raised to the 8th largest city in America at the time. And low-cost housing flew up to support so many new workers, many of whom came from foreign lands in search of work, and different cultures popped up throughout the city. And many also came from the South, where they were looking for work. And generally, these were African American people. Unfortunately, these racial differences would eventually lead to Detroit's decline. Many people claim that Detroit's decline was due to corrupt government, an increase in automation, technology, and rising competition from foreign automotive companies. But the most likely cause of Detroit's ultimate downfall can be traced back to the Detroit race riot of 1943. When the government constructed a black workers' housing complex in a white suburb, riots broke out, and 34 people were killed. 34, I think 25 of whom were black. The event scared away many white-collar workers, and the big 3 automotive companies mostly moved out of the downtown and moved their production operations to the suburbs by the late 1950s. Many black families were not able to afford the move to the suburbs, and that it caused more riots to break out in 1967, and many buildings in the downtown area, unfortunately, to be damaged beyond repair and burned down. They were never repaired. Detroit lost thousands and thousands of residents due to the steady loss of manufacturing jobs, and unemployment and poverty grew, leading to increased blight and crime. However, although Detroit's history of 1, a Great Fire, 2, a boom in the production auto industry, and also the racial riots that decimated Detroit's reputation in America, although that these became what Detroit is well known for now, they led to a new movement within the downtown that no politician could have predicted, which was the arts movement. The low cost of living and the charming ruins of the city left the city ripe for young artists and entrepreneurs to be able to come and move their dreams into. And this is the city that I know today. The revival of arts and celebration of the rise and fall of a world capital, and of people who are lovingly devoted to making the city a better place to be.
Thank you.